This morning, with just 28 days until the year 2000, we begin a series of profiles celebrating figures we believe made a special contribution during the course of this century. As I mentioned, this certainly is not the ultimate list, but simply a look at some of the people we felt impacted our lives for the better. Today, we focus on a man who has moved us, inspired us, and entertained us, and in the process, has done pretty well for himself. He is arguably the world's most famous living filmmaker, entertaining and inspiring us for over a quarter of a century. Steven Spielberg. You can't get much bigger than that. We're not worthy, we're not worthy.
I'm not worthy, I'm not worthy.
His first major hit, Jaws, broke box office records and changed the role of movie making forever. No doubt Spielberg has a way of making audiences come back for more. From his signature adventure movies like Raiders of the Lost Ark and Jurassic Park, to the mysterious extraterrestrials in Close Encounters of the Third Kind and E.T., to his more recent serious films, Amistad, Schindler's List, and Saving Private Ryan. You've been described as having a, quote, grip on the national consciousness. How do you decide what people want to see? Do you go through a process, Steven, that makes you decide, yes, I'm going to green light, or whatever you Hollywood people call it, I'm going to make a go at this?
I never think about what the public wants, which, you know, clues me into saying yes and green lighting a project. It literally is, what do I want?
Go right back, and then we'll go out here and we'll stop on Matthew.
I've always listened to the little tickle that's right here. If the tickle's like in my hand, it's not as important that when you get a tickle right in your throat, and that's what makes me at least say, I gotta tell that story.
The Avenger.
But even one of the world's most successful directors is entitled to a few flops, like Hook and 1941. But his instincts are almost always right on the money. 3 of the movies Spielberg directed, Jaws, E.T., and Jurassic Park, are among the highest-grossing films of all time. Despite his success, family is still Spielberg's #1 priority. He is devoted to his wife, actress Kate Capshaw, and their 7 children. What impact do you think or hope you've had on this latter part of the 20th century? If you had to sit down and kind of evaluate that.
I hope I've had some impact on my family, to start with. I hope I've made an impression on them in a positive way, you know. And as far as film is concerned, you know, I make movies, and I've never made movies to impact a century, or let alone, you know, anybody outside of a movie theater.
But when people say you're one of the most influential filmmakers of the 20th century, which in essence means of all time, since weren't a lot of films made in the 1800s, I mean, what is your reaction to that?
I say, well, thank you. That's nice, and thank God there were about 7 dozen filmmakers that were my most influential, you know, measuring sticks of the 20th century.
Tell me some of the people who influenced you as you grew up and evolved in this business.
Probably the earliest influence was Walt Disney.
Hi ho, it's home from work we go.
And that was my first major, I think, you know, time I saw, gee, I'd love to do that someday. Alfred Hitchcock certainly is a mainstay in my life.
Good evening, friends.
When you started out, did you ever suspect that you would be in this position today? I mean, what were your expectations? Just to be involved in filmmaking in some capacity?
Yeah, I just wanted to be on the set. I mean, at first, I wanted to hang out. I wanted to be there and watch how they did it. The great allure for me was, how do they make movies? How do they do those shots? How do they get those people to talk that way? How does it come out looking the way it looks? He puts his hands up and he says, come.
Come.
And he touches his heart and he says, ouch.
Ouch.
And then you'll touch your heart and you'll say ouch back to him.
Many believe part of Spielberg's true genius is telling stories about ordinary people in extraordinary circumstances. And he says E.T. is not just a story about a lovable alien.
Although I didn't have a lot of people who agree with me, I thought E.T. was a serious story because it was about the divorce of my parents, and that was the subtext that I made the picture under.
And about feeling like an outsider.
And feeling like a nerdy outsider, which was the context of most of my childhood.
Movies proved the perfect outlet for this nerdy outsider.
Children of all ages.
He saw his first feature, The Greatest Show on Earth, at 5 and became a fledgling director at 12 with his first short film, Fighter Squad. In 1967, when he was just 20 years old, Spielberg found a way to sneak onto the lot at Universal Studios. 2 years later, young Spielberg was directing Joan Crawford in his first TV movie.
I want to see something. Trees, concrete, buildings, grass, airplanes, color!
Go back, guys. Do it again.
Today, at 52, Spielberg is worth close to $2 billion and is considered to be one of the most influential people in Hollywood.
And cut. Thank you. That works well.
But for many years, he felt boxed in by his own success.
I didn't have the courage to tell serious stories for quite a while, almost for a decade, because my stories about adventure and romance and science fiction were so popular. I was almost afraid to jump off the good ship Lollipop while it was still sailing high in the water.
Let's talk about Schindler's List, which you went into seriously and was taken extremely seriously. It had such a profound impact on so many people. Is that movie your proudest accomplishment to date?
Yes.
Why was it so important for you to make this movie?
Well, it was almost scarier not to make this movie because it was one of the first times that the word responsibility ever became a word that I would put next to, you know, cinema.
And it really changed people's perception of you, fairly or unfairly, as a filmmaker. It was as if Steven Spielberg, there's more to him than Indiana Jones. This guy has heart, he's got conviction, he's got courage, he has compassion. Was that strange for you? Because you must have thought, hey, this guy was in here all the time.
Yeah, I did feel that. But I said, no, he's always been here, but maybe, you know, he hasn't been living, you know, in the right subjects.
Schindler's List was a turning point for Spielberg. For the first time, he wasn't only entertaining his audience, he was educating them as well.
When Schindler's List first came out, I know that you did not believe it would be a commercial success.
Yeah, I was certain it wouldn't.
He was wrong. Schindler's List made $321 million, but Spielberg refused to keep any of the profits. Calling it blood money, he donated the proceeds to Jewish causes, including his own Shoah Foundation, which is documenting testimonies of Holocaust survivors. In 1994, Schindler's List was nominated for 12 Academy Awards. Spielberg took home double Oscars, Best Picture and Best Director. Once again, Spielberg captured the devastation of World War II with his 1998 epic, Saving Private Ryan.
I know that Saving Private Ryan was, in a way, a huge thank you to all of the men and women who sacrificed their lives and who fought during World War II, including your father.
Yes.
What do you think our generation and future generations can learn from that generation?
Well, we certainly can learn about the solidarity of a single cause that united all of us for a decade. I also think it was a time to look back to realize that there are things worth fighting and dying for. And that's why I think that World War II was the defining moment of the entire 20th century.
It seems as if movies have always served a purpose in society of sorts, whether it's sort of rallying the troops during World War II or, I guess, providing some form of escapism for those who could afford them during the Depression. What do you see the role of movies taking on?
I think that the internet is going to affect the most profound change on the entertainment industries combined. And we're all going to be tuning into the most popular internet show in the world, which will be coming from someplace in Des Moines. I mean, I really believe this
Great,
is
I'm going to lose my job.
We're all going to lose our jobs. We're all going to be on the internet trying to find an audience.
As you look toward the millennium, do you think it's a good time to kind of reflect on where we are as a nation and where we might go?
Just giving us all a third chance, you know, to be better people. It's just a clean slate. It's like, you know, New Year's Eve resolutions. And you make these little resolutions about, okay, you're not going to smoke anymore, you're going to go on the zone diet or whatever it happens to be.
You're going to floss.
You're going to floss, you know, twice a day or even once a week. And now here's a chance symbolically, you know, to everybody, the entire world, to really get together and make a promise to each other that we're going to, you know, have 1,000 years of peace, God willing, and mankind willing.
Steven Spielberg. It's 8:19. We'll be back with more of Today right after this.
Hey, thanks for watching. And don't forget, you can catch the Today Show every morning on NBC or take Today when you're on the go. Just follow the Today podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen.